それではしてしまいましょうか。キュー。
Okay, could you all not sharpen your sketch pencils all at once? We open this week with a flashback to Nemo in her very advanced primary school. Like, seriously, what sort of curriculum includes learning how to ride unicycles? However, of course, the character who literally exists in the shadows was unsocial.
影以外のとこは出たらサメに食べられちゃう。
Says the girl who's apparently always had shark teeth. Granted, a lot of that was because the other kids weren't willing to play with her, except for one. Back to the present, Utena decided to ask her newest allies why one of them offered their services to her. And, well, Mataba's main reason for betraying Lord was pretty damn obvious. That, and she did recognize that the original trio were seemingly lacking in power, with Koisu being admittedly a glass cannon with low stamina, Kiwi being a 0-star, which, ignoring the end of this episode, is still pretty badass in my books. And Utena was seemingly a 2-star, ignoring the ones on her horns, her eyes, and those few extras she gets on occasion. Yeah, obviously the wannabe idol wasn't good at recognizing her anime underdog tropes. Regardless, they would be good additions to the team, that is, after Utena got a little payback for the magical girls they defeated. God, do I feel old whenever I have to make a reference like that. But yeah, Jigtena had created a dollhouse trap with Koisu's assistance. And of course, the otaku girl would be good at creating scale models, unlike her normie teammate. Do you want me to go over all the reasons? Anyway, even though the two at least weren't chained up in a dirty bathroom, Matama and Nemo were already at each other's necks after the events of the previous episode, when the idol learned that her friend had been deceiving her for so long. And with a little more gaslighting from Jigtena, she made Matama believe that she'd be better off discarding her old friend, which, yeah, that was genuinely a sad moment, especially after we've seen how long these two have known each other, and really how much Nemo has sacrificed for her. She even joined a really shady organization like Eromita, and couldn't do anything whenever Matama was mercilessly punished by Lord. So yeah, Nemo more than earned the right to dress down this idiot idol. Though fortunately, she didn't actually say too much, and the two rather quickly buried the hatchet. However, this wasn't quite enough for Jigtena, who I guess decided to be a marriage counselor this week. And unfortunately, I don't think we could show the entire kiss here on YouTube, but just take our word, there was a little tongue. Still, whatever, I guess we could still show most of it, as long as they don't take things too far in. Hey, I was kidding with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge clip last week. I mean, I'm not gonna play right now, but still. Okay, but legit, we really can't show most of this scene without overworking the poor Hayate censor, who I should probably give a break after this. So, fortunately, there were some perfectly wholesome flashbacks in between all of this that effectively showed Nemo's attraction to her old friend that was somewhat hampered by her desire to support her from the shadows, hinting that she also didn't want to break certain social boundaries and— Y'all aren't even listening, I just want to watch the lesbians, don't you? Okay, I'm just gonna go get a snack. The second half of the episode focused on a counterattack that Lord decided to launch after learning of Matama and Nemo's betrayal. Yeah, lady, after a while, maybe you should consider that maybe you're the problem, just saying. Meanwhile, Utena had turned down yet another hotel invite from Kiwi, which, yeah, this girl really is just the Mio Murasaki of the show, isn't she? Like, she clearly loves to voyeuristically watch the Yuri, and yet even though she has a prime partner, she doesn't accept their offers. Then again, I guess they didn't have time for it before Lord launched her attack, using some shadows from Persona, and yes, I prefer using footage from FES, deal with it. And unfortunately for the city, the Tresmagia were still training in the mountains, where Sal had at least made progress with her transformation trinket having fully repaired itself. Moreover, she had formed an even stronger and deeper bond with her Nakama, who would always be by her side and never— You know, I would take back everything bad I said about Wonderful Precure if it ended like that. Anyway, and while not quite as bad as previous weeks, the action scenes in this episode were still pretty subpar with a heavy usage of stills. Granted, I am glad that the Yuri scene was well done, but I don't think they had to sacrifice it for the action, at least not this much. Still, it was pretty cool to see the now 5-member team work together until... Yeah, maybe I dismissed the Hayate sensor a little too soon. To make matters worse, or better depending on your perspective, Sister Gigant joined the battle and was going to finish them off. Fortunately, Kiwi saved the day and told Utena to go deal with Lord as they couldn't hurt the shadows without striking them at the source.
この戦いが終わったらホテルに行こうね。わかった。
You're dead? That's good, amen.
With that, she tried to fight the giantess nun, who also pointed out the whole star thing. However, there was a reason that she had always kept her upper half covered. I don't know why she didn't bother with her lower half though.
いや、なんてことはない。
And granted, this was a pretty badass reveal as the episode ended with Kiwi turning into Atlantia Alter, but I still kind of liked her better as the scrappy Zero Star. This week, they also changed up the ending theme to now include Matama and Nemo, both with some new stills of them, and also adding them to the group shots and vocals. It was legit one of my favorite parts of this episode, both for showing the new bonds that our original trio had managed to form, and just how the ending theme was better with additional vocalists to it. I also liked the little touches, like the addition of Matama's mic and Nemo's star to the weapon lineup, which, yeah, I guess the latter really doesn't have a physical weapon. And also the train shot now being in a wide angle to both accommodate the additional members and possibly symbolize Utena's world expanding as she discovers new friends and allies. Good stuff, other than this kind of weird perspective on Matama's eye. Still, this was a really good episode, mostly for that Yuri scene. I mean, don't get me wrong, the fact that we're starting up a big battle with Lord is a very engaging conflict for this show, but it is still just a start, and even then, it's kind of rough around the edges with that animation. Though honestly, it's no big deal, as clearly that wasn't the highlight of this episode, which that certainly got all of the light I'll ever need. I will also kind of praise the subtle storytelling this week that, while not quite as strong as last week's, was still effective with the characters constantly bringing up the star system, which on top of leading to Kiwi's big reveal, also helped to establish what are now 5 anti-villains we're dealing with against Lord. It really helped to make her feel like a genuine threat, which was backed up by her persona shadows being essentially invulnerable until they got to her. Meanwhile, with Matama and Nemo, aside from their big moment together, the build up to it was also nicely done with the flashbacks to their childhood, plus in retrospect, the punishments that Nemo was forced to watch her friend go through. It was legit heartwarming to see what these two have gone through and discovering how much they truly valued each other. And of course, Utena both taking out her aggressions on the heretics who dare lay fingers on the magical girls, and just being plain voyeuristic, was creepy and yet hilarious at the same time. I mean, it is clear that she does recognize them as teammates and did want them to repair their relationship, and probably realized that the real culprit was Lord for putting them up to it. You could say it almost paradoxically showed both her degraded morality and yet wholesomeness in trying to bring out the best in her team. And that's probably the best way to describe this episode overall, both very lewd and yet kind of wholesome at times between Nemo and Matama discovering their feelings for each other and Kiwi's badass dedication to Utena. The latter was a little hampered by some subpar animation that hopefully they'll fix by next week. I mean, come on, it's a cat girl versus a giantess nun. You gave us the goods this week, so keep it up with the action next time. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out our other videos on this channel. We're about 70% done with the Hirogara Sky overview, so in order to put the finishing touches on it, we will likely be skipping the usual Wednesday review so that we can shoot for maybe a Friday release. Believe me, we have a few things to say about that magical girl anime and how it could have been done just a little better. So look forward to it. Until then though, for now my friends, and
I want to play a game.
You know, didn't I deal with you back last Halloween? You need to come up with new material, don't you?